And I'm Misty.
And this is
Handmade
the Handmade
Podcast.
Podcast. Today, in episode 4, we are going to talk about what we're working on, what we have finished, and we have some kind of big news to share. So, Misty, you have tons of finished objects, and you're wearing one of them.
I'm wearing one of them. This is my monster cowl. I cannot believe it's done. Let me stand up so you can see. It is doubled, so it's super duper long. And you can see it's
so pretty.
It's still actually damp. I blocked it last night, but the drape is awesome.
It's so cool.
So I really love it. I cannot believe I told my mom she could have it.
I would not
totally
give it to her.
renege. But if I do, I'll have to make it.
And that's the crazy, insane striping yarn that we shared in the last episode.
This is the crazy, crazy rainbow stripes. And I've got to figure out how to make this again because it is just that awesome. I want to do it in sock yarn, and I've did the math. I've got to figure out how to measure out the yarn a little better.
And this is 2 layers.
This is like,
so there are that many rainbows in it. It's so amazing. And it's 2 skeins.
This is 2 skeins.
Of worsted weight.
Of worsted weights.
Love it so much.
You could probably get away with less. You could probably do 1 and it would be a great cowl. But I like it big and drapey. So, So that is, I'm going to leave that off because it's kind of hot. And, I've had to fuss at my children. I've bought them new clothes, and they've tried to wear long sleeves to school. And I'm like, it's August. You cannot do that. I was like,
no.
I know. So, I've had to fuss at my kids for wanting to wear their new clothes. So
I want it to be fall weather. I wanted to wear a shawl today, but it's
I'm
way
ready.
too hot.
It is.
Yeah, it's still like 80, 90 degrees here.
Yes.
It's crazy. So you have another rainbow thing, right? Your rainbow bag?
Yes.
You finished?
I finished a rainbow project bag for me. This is the sweater size, and I probably would have even made it a little bigger, but I was limited by my zipper. I thought I had a bigger zipper, and I didn't, and so I forget what size this is, but I did not even trim it any at all. You can see the little stop on the end. Usually I trim the zippers. So this is decorator weight fabric that I found at
it feels good, and it's like
the
shiny.
store. It is. It's really nice, shiny kind of fabric. I love the print and pattern. This is a little more almost sophisticated than what my normal style is. I like the cutesy and the loud and the
this is the
themed
bag
and
she made for me. Oh, we should compare the sizes because it's kind of hard to tell.
This is my what I would call a medium bag, and so this will be the large bag, and I'll probably make one just a slight bit larger. This houses about 3 skeins of yarn and a 3/4 completed sweater. So this is a good size bag.
Yeah, so you could fit a whole sweater's worth of yarn.
You can do a whole sweater's worth in there. It's got the interior little pocket, and so the little handle, and I did my little clip loop here that I feel I will eventually use to do stitch markers or something. Clip a little ring on for stitch markers, and I used stitch markers for the first time last night.
Oh, really?
Yes, I finally broke out my Doctor Who ones that I decided I was going to keep a set for myself. They were my first pretty ones. And so I whipped up this hat for, that I'm going to list in the shop. My friend, Nikisha, we have a shop in Jonesboro, and she wanted me to knit some things. And so I thought I've got some leftover yarn that I made a cowl for my stepdad for Christmas last year, and it would be perfect for a man's hat. And so I did turn a square, which leads me to...
And you used stitch markers for that?
I used stitch markers for this. You have to... Here is... I don't know if you could...
The top is a square.
The top is a square. And so, you can see how the decreases are done at even intervals around the top. And so I used my pretty, cute, charming stitch markers, Doctor Who stitch markers on there. And I loved them. And so this is the... Right on here. It's kind of big, I feel like.
It's cute. No, I have a big head, so I was thinking it was small.
No, it's very loose and stretchy.
Should I do it?
Yeah.
We'll see what it does to my hair.
So it's very loose and stretchy and comfy.
That totally
and
fits.
so this would fit really anybody.
That's so cute. And so this is going to go in the shop in Jonesboro?
This is going to go in the shop in Jonesboro.
Now, you have to tell the story about how you dyed that color yarn, though.
This is one, I dyed this last year, and this is one of my first really big dye projects, and I'm really proud of it because I dyed this to match a picture. And I'm like a new, back then I was a totally new dyer, and I didn't know anything.
No, but the best part is that it's a picture of an ATV.
It's a picture of an ATV. He wanted this. It was called a howl cat or something like that. And it was a cross between a cowl and a hat. And I'll I didn't think to, I didn't know we were going to talk about this, but I'll post the pattern on our notes, on our blog. But the pattern is on Ravelry, and you knit in sock weight, and this blue is sock weight. I've held it double for this, but you knit in sock weight, and then you knit in worsted weight.
Ah.
And so I can't remember if it's ribbing or what. I don't remember the pattern, but yeah, you can wear it down as a cowl. You can pull that sock weight up and have like a mask for your face, or you can take the sock weight, you put it on as a hat, give it a twist, and fold it down over so it's a toboggan. So it was
smart.
actually pretty cool, and I can't believe that he actually wanted that, and there was a real pattern for it. 'Cause he told me exactly what he wanted, and I had no idea that there was it was a thing, that there was a real pattern for that. I'm like, okay, I'll see what I can do. But yeah, he had this great blue, I think he calls it Big Blue or something, for his ATV, and it had black tires and copper colored rims. And so yeah, I like played around and dyed to match, and I was so proud of that, because that was one of the first big things I dyed for, that I was actually trying to match something up. So that made me feel like I could really, it made me feel accomplished, that I could really do this dye thing and be decent about it,
Yeah, it's such a funny request from a grown man.
Well, I make him knitted things every year, and he always really appreciates it. And so, of course, if somebody's going to really appreciate what you make, you're going to make it for them again, because especially with men, they're so hard to buy for. Yes. You never know what to get them. So, and plus, he's one of those guys that has everything anyway. If he wants something, he'll go get it. And so, you can't really buy him anything.
Right.
So I have to resort to making him stuff, and he likes that. He loves it. So yeah, this was leftover yarn from that, and I was so nervous that I was not going to have enough. And I actually bought a scale and weighed my yarn, and I had enough and had a little bit left over. So that was pretty cool.
That's awesome. That's such a great story.
Yeah.
So I do not have any finished objects to share this week, partly because my Jaywalker sock, which you've seen in weeks past, so you can see I've turned the heel and I've started the gusset, but I had like this much more on it, at least 2 or 3 inches, and it was way too big. I don't know what I did with the gusset, but it was, I think I made my heel flap too long, because when I ripped back, I took out a couple more rows of my heel flap, and I did my heel turn weird so that it had too many extra stitches. And of course, if the heel flap is too long, then you've picked up too many stitches, there, so you have just too many. And I think I might have, I'm pretty laid back about watching the pattern, and that, like, when you're supposed to decrease every other row, I just kind of look at it and like, this seems like a decrease row, this doesn't. Yeah, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
you want it to fit.
I so messed up my toe on my last one. I managed to save it, but I'm like, did I decrease that row? Did I not? Am I supposed to do the next one? Yeah. I hate keeping up with decreases when they're like every other row and you're just kind of just knitting.
And some people are like fanatical about it. They'll either like write it all down and mark it off as they go, or there are row counters you can like click, and so you know what row you're on. That's too much. That's not fun. So I ripped back, and now the decrease is fine. I keep trying it on my foot over and over. It's totally fitting, but it was like maybe a half an inch too big all the way around my foot. And it was already halfway down my foot. And that I discovered like a week ago. So if it had been right, A, it would have gone faster because it would have been smaller, and B, I would have been done by now.
Yeah.
So no finished projects for me, but a sad tale.
Yes.
And the thing is, it's my second sock. So you'd think, I thought the heel flap was exactly the same length as the other sock, but who knows what I'm doing differently. But now if it's
I have never did a heel flap. I only knit a couple pairs of socks, a handful of pairs of socks. But I'm not doing a heel flap yet, and I need to do one because everybody brags about how well they fit. Mm-hmm. And I think I've mentioned this before. I really want to do the one that Super Steph's been going on about, that has the double gusset on the bottom of the foot. Yeah. I think that sounds funky and fun, and I've been trying to do different heels and stuff every time I do a pair of socks, which I just started back knitting socks last year, and I did one last year and then one this year.
Which have a finished pair, right?
I have a finished pair, and these I've showed before.
And now they're done.
Yeah. So these are just plain vanilla socks with the Fish Lips Kiss heel. You can kind of see. It's
Now, did you
really great that not have any little holes there.
Did you do the work to make your stripes line up so perfectly?
I tried to, when you do the heel, I tried to stop it kind of in the middle of that gray row.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and
did you cut out some yarn?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay.
I did not break the yarn. And on this, I had 2 balls of 2 skeins, and so I did start a new skein with the second sock, but I don't think I really tried to. I think it just started at the same place, so I got really lucky.
Those are perfectly matching.
Yeah,
I've never had a pair of perfectly matching.
Yeah.
I love it.
So they're pretty, that was pretty cool.
That's so awesome. I love them.
So yeah, I love them. I wore them around the house, and I washed them last night just so that I could have clean socks and not be handling all the dog hair or something or whatever it's picked up off the floor. So.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I was looking at mine. It's like, since using the project bags you've made me, it's a lot better. But if I leave it on the couch for a minute, it becomes coated in big dog hairs. Hopefully you can't see that when I hold it up to the camera, because that's gross. You've been dyeing a lot, right?
I've been dyeing a lot. I've got several little projects here. Let me grab them all while I'm down here. Okay.
I haven't seen this one yet.
This one, I love it. It turned out great. I've been saying for a week or longer that I wanted to do this really great red orange, and it turned out amazing.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, this is sock weights. It's very just tonal. It's
so beautiful.
I don't know how well it's coming up on there. I hope it's coming up good.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like so impossible. Oh, and did you see the light just changed when you held it up versus? Anyhow, it's amazing. I have a dress this color, and I think it's orange. And whenever I have a picture of it, because I've asked Twitter to vote on what I should wear when I teach sometimes, they're always like, oh, the red one. And I'm like, it's not red in person, but I think it's this exact color.
It's like red, but it's orange. But it's not orange, but it's not red.
Well,
so,
and then, like next to my pink, like that's orange. But next to that seems red.
Yeah.
Yeah. So. Next to this, it definitely feels red. Next to that.
Yeah.
Pink. Okay, I could talk about the color forever. It's so gorgeous.
It is. I will definitely be doing this color again. I love it. I think it's a great fall color. So yeah.
It's such a me color. I clearly need to own that one.
Okay. So yeah, we'll be doing that one again. This one, I don't think I've talked about this. Please forgive me if I have, but I don't think I have. This one was fun. I'm doing a I've been asked to do a hot pink and lime green color for this retreat we're going to in Jonesboro, Tennessee in October. And so I've been playing around, and with just 2 colors, I'm like, I don't want to just do 2 colors. I want to make it something more and fun. And so I dyed this up, and I did, I kind of did it like this in the pan. And I did green on one end and pink on the other. And in the middle, I took the powder and sprinkled green and pink powder in there. And I don't think that I'll use it for the retreat, but I still liked it. I thought it was way cool.
I love it.
The green, I don't know if I did, it was more like hand painting because it was damp. But it wasn't immersed in water, and it wasn't sitting in a pool of water or anything. It was just damp yarn. So I sprinkled the dye on there, and I think I might have accidentally chemically broke it, which excites me to no end.
Yes, because you were talking about, hold that part up. Let them see that part.
This green turned out blue in places. And I thought that, and yellow, I thought that was amazing because I have been reading about and looking at other dyers stuff where they've chemically broke stuff, and I was like, that looks amazing. I need to know how to do that.
And did you find that article I told you about on Ravelry? So there is a post about how to chemically break your dyes.
I forgot about that.
And it's in the group called Love to Dye, and we'll all include it in the show notes so that they can find it as well.
Here's a little yellow section. So yeah, it like I sprinkled it on there and sprinkled some pink on there, and I thought it turned out really cool. I liked it. I can't wait to see what it looks like knit up.
Yeah. I know. That's exciting.
But yeah, I think it turned out good.
I feel like we should tell them more about the retreat. So we're going to put this in our show notes. But in case you want to come, because you can come and stay the night, or not with us, but at the hotels, there is a 2 or 3 day.
It starts
Friday and it
goes through Sunday. And goes through Sunday.
And it's with the Naughty Ladies.
The Naughty Ladies. They have a Facebook group and they have a website.
And we will send you to that. But if you want to come to Jonesboro, East Tennessee, see where we live, meet us, hang out with us, we would love it. We will take you to coffee and like squeal over you and hug you. And
yes. We will both be vending.
That's right.
So I will have my yarn there and some bags and some stitch markers and some fiber and
I will be there with my mom's fiber farm, Bluebird Legacy Farm. You can find it on Etsy now if you want to. But she has roving we co-own some sheep. And since we bought the first 2 sheep like 5 years ago, the flock has grown to now 10 or 12, and I kind of forget because there are new lambs every spring, and I lose track.
Aww.
But she did just have somebody buy a ram and a ewe, so now I'm not sure if the flock is how many it is.
I'd have a hard time owning those because I would be like, they're my babies.
But they are babies, but this was a sweet little family that wanted to start their own fiber flock.
Oh, that would be sweet. That would be the exception, to know that they were going to
and that's
like
what
that.
why her flock keeps expanding is because it is so hard to find a buyer that you feel like it's going to take the right amount of care of them.
Yeah.
And we were vetted thoroughly by the farmer who sold them to us, who's in Weaverville, Hobby Knob Farm. She has tons of now I can't remember what they're called. Not Shetland, but she's Jacobs, which is not what we decided to go with. So Mom's flock is mostly Shetland. So she has only a pound of white Shetland wool left because Misty got some that she'll be dyeing.
Yes, I'll be dyeing. I'm nervous about it though because I was watching I think the Fat Squirrel or somebody, and they mentioned I love buying from a spinner because they actually know what they're doing, and I'm like, I so don't know what I'm doing.
You'll learn, and it's easy.
And I know that I dyed a fiber last year and did not felt it. Yeah. And I have ordered twice from Etsy and had 2 bad experiences with felted fiber. I could not believe that. It was 2 different people, and I was really surprised that people are listing their stuff on there that's felted, and I'm sure that they did not realize it or they wouldn't have listed it. But still, if they're dyeing like that enough to list it, you would think that they would know better. But I was able to dye without felting it, so I feel in doing that I feel confident enough that I can dye some fiber and it be decent. So.
Yeah. So we'll have some of the undyed fiber, the gray and the white, and then also my mom has dyed some just in solid colors, and I will have dyed fiber and spun it through All Spinzilla, and I'll have my hand dyed yarn there. So I don't sell yarn through Blonde Chicken Boutique anymore, so this is the one time I'm gonna be selling yarn for in the last year or 2 years. So I'm kind of excited to do it again. I wanted to do it just because it's going to be so much fun to talk to knitters again. And I love the experience of selling face-to-face yarn and then seeing what people make with it.
Oh, I know.
So if you've been wanting to get some of my hand-spun yarn, it'll be there and then kind of not ever again until maybe this comes up again. Yeah. But we are excited. We'll be there all 3 days vending, and I'll also have my books.
Oh, they have classes too. Oh,
do they?
Don't go ahead with your books.
Oh, I was just going to say, she asked me. She emailed me back, Carrie, one of the organizers, and said, is your book a printed book? And I was like, yes, it is. And she said, well, then you've got to bring it and sign it for people.
Oh, yeah. That'll be very cool.
Yeah. I feel weird signing it like I'm a real author.
You are.
But so my books will be there, and I think I'm going to include something for your businessy or crafty goals in the gift bag. So something kind of related to helping people.
I've got to get on that. I'm supposed to put something, and I've got to donate some kind of door prize or something.
Yeah. So if we want to meet you. So come to this, and we will put all the links in the show notes. But really, if you Google Naughty Ladies Jonesboro Fiber Retreat, you will find it.
Yes. But what was I saying?
You were saying...
No, there was something else I was starting to
say.
Classes. There's classes, and they are $5 a class. That is so affordable. That's unheard of. Yeah. That is just unheard of. And I don't know who all they have. I know Deb Berger is going to be one of the teachers, and I don't know who all else they have. I know one is going to be Entrelac. Deb's not teaching that. Ooh. Deb's a crochet designer, and she teaches crochet. Very nice lady. And I know somebody's teaching Entrelac. I saw them working on the project. I went to a knit night a month ago or something, and they are working on that. And then there's going to be a long draw spin class that I really would like to take on Sunday morning, because I am not still a very new spinner. I've had my wheel maybe a year, and I've not spun on it at all this year. I did get it out the other day and spin on it for like 10 minutes or something, but it was enough to get me started back on it after,
Well, and when I started spinning, that's the advice that I heard most often was it's way better to do 10 minutes a day than to sit down on the weekend and try to do it for 2 or 3 hours, because your hands will get the muscle memory of it. So do it short bursts regularly versus feeling like
you have to a lot of time.
Exactly. And then that's how I did it forever to get comfortable with it. It's just like little bits, because it's easy to get frustrating. Like your machine can do things. I feel like it's the same way with sewing. Your machine can mess up and make you like aggravated.
Oh yes.
So just tiny bits of time.
All kinds of frustrations with machines. So I know all about that.
Yeah. You have another skein of yarn.
I have another skein of yarn. This one was a happy accident. This one
so
I
awesome.
had originally had something else in mind for it. I should show it. I'll twist it up first. I had originally something else in mind for this, and it did not want to be what I told it to be, and so it wanted to be this. And so it's still damp. I haven't, and I love it so much. I hope it's not too messy to leave like this, because I want to. Because I don't want to reskein it and have it all messed up. But this is what it looks like. It's a little, you can see it's a little more pink than it is, or red or burgundy or whatever, than it is green.
But what I love, if I can just say, is that middle part. See where the red and the green overlap? That's what made me think that it's all autumnal, because it goes from the green leaves to like a, not even brown, I don't know, coppery.
Yeah.
And then the red, it reminds me so much of the changing leaves. I think it's fantastic.
So this could go for fall. I thought it could go for Christmas, but I see what she's saying. It does have some brown tones in there too. And so, but I loved it. I was so happy with how it turned out, because I was not happy at first. And so I kept playing, and so it was great to have that freedom to feel like I could play, because I didn't like where it was going anyway. And, it's like as a new dyer, you want to be able to play and experiment, but you really don't, you can't afford to ruin yarn, come on. And so I was really happy with being able to play and being happy with how it turned out. So,
yeah. And I know I've told you this, but in my opinion, you can't ruin yarn. Like, unless you cut it or you burn it or you like knit it and rip it a zillion times. But when it comes to dyeing, like, someone will always like it. And at the very end, you can over dye it black. I mean, you can always end up with black yarn.
Oh, yeah, that's...
But, like, in general, there are yarn colors I don't like, and so they would be ruined to me, but someone will like it. And I've gifted a lot of yarn that was like, this is not my color, but it's my friend's color. And you need to make friends with people who have different color tastes than you do.
Yeah.
Because then you're like, this skein isn't me, but it's very you. Like, that is more earth tones than some of the other yarns you've done. Yeah. So people love earth tones, though.
I want to do it all. I want to do the little, I've not ventured into pastels, but I want to do pastels too. I feel like that would be harder than just pretty much almost anything, to have those light colors and not get them too dark. But yeah, I'm excited to do some very light pastel-y colors. I want to try that next.
Yeah.
I want to try everything next. I'm like, I love dyeing, and I can't wait to do the next thing. So
yeah, I love that.
I have one more little completed thing. I knit a little bunting square.
It's so cute.
I got this pattern from Ravelry, and the link will be in the show notes. And I've been wanting to do this. I want to have I want to do it with my yarn and have just a little bunting thing set up for my glass back here, and have it kind of coming down in the corner and
have samples of all your colors.
And have samples of some of my favorite colors and just stuff that I've knit, and maybe just do a little bit of leftovers. So I'm excited about that being my first one. I like the look of this. I don't know if you guys were able to really see it, but it has like a little garter edge, and it has stockinette in the middle. And they had some patterns that just did garter, but I just love the look of stockinette.
Yeah,
and so I wanted to do a little stockinette one, but that will be there's a link in the show notes about which pattern I used.
I love that.
And I have one more thing, and I think I'm about done. And
another finished?
No, finished.
Oh, okay. One you're working on.
I'm working on. This is polka dot cowl. Now, I just started this. I've not showed this yet, have I? I think this is brand new. So I worked a lot on this. This is yarn that was gifted to me by my friend Jen for my birthday last year, and I'm just now getting around to start it.
Is it Neuro
Silk Garden, and the tan or oatmeal color is Barocco Vintage. And this came from Terry in Carriage House in Kingsport. And so I love Terry's shop. She's great. But I'm kind of nervous about this. I tried to knit the stranded work loose, but where it bunches up on your needle, it just kind of does that. So I think that it's loose enough to where if I block it aggressively, it will flatten out. But even if it doesn't, the inside is stripes. Check that out. So I can always just switch it out.
And it's reversible.
It's reversible. And I did. I will link the patterns. No, I think I'm linking my project page. And in the project page, I have 2 patterns linked. And I pretty much made up my own patterns. I looked at both of theirs, and I used a chart from one of theirs. But the one that I liked better was like fingering weight. And so and the other one was worsted, but it was like a long cowl. And both of them knit in a tube so it wouldn't curl. But I like the idea of the stripes inside, and I didn't feel like I had enough yarn to make it really long. So I made a kind of a tall, fat one.
And it'll be reversible because you're knitting them both. Yeah, you went from the polka dots to the stripes.
Picot edge. Did a turn row, and you just do a yarn over knit 2 together all the way across.
And then you'll turn it, and this will go on the inside.
And that will go on the inside. And then I did a provisional cast on. So once I get to I did the provisional cast on, knit a few rows, and did this turn row. And so this will fold too. And then once I get inside, I'll just graft it.
So your edge will be really finished the same way on both sides.
Yeah, it'll be finished.
I was wondering about that. That's awesome. And the other thing is that if this doesn't block more... actually, I can see just by holding it, it's totally going to. It's going to be scrunched around your neck anyhow.
Yeah.
It's not like it needs to lay flat. And she sent me a text with a picture that said, will this block out? And I was like, I don't know. But I don't think it will matter so much. But when you hold it, you can totally see that it's going to be flat. I love these colors.
Look at this, Noro. It's going pink and green right now and teal, and I love that. But it's got this really pretty fall orangey color. And I actually did some color management and cut the yarn once I was almost finished here. And so I cut the yarn and started back with the pink because I wanted the pink to be showing when I folded it over or whatever. But I think it's going to go ahead and go into this other color. But I was kind of almost hoping that I would have it left over because I had this, left over from the front. And I thought, I could use this as a fall color, so a small fall project, put something else with it.
Yeah. And
do it, because it's so pretty and fall colory.
Now, this is the color this is the same Nora color. Years ago, I made my mom a hat, really similar to the hat we just tried on, just pulled over, and then fingerless gloves, I think just like a little garter and then knit and then garter with a little hole for her thumb in the same colorway, and I love it. She loves it. It's so autumnal. She still wears it. And maybe a scarf to go with it. I'll have to look at Ravelry to remember. but we were obsessed with it for a while.
I loved it. I've stalked it for a long time. And so thank you, Jen. That was very, very generous of you last year.
That's awesome. That's a great gift, too.
It was a really great gift.
So my projects I'm working on, the sock, continuously. And also, I mentioned it last week that I was going to use... this cephalopod yarn to do Lethal's of Lethal Knit. Her actual name is Lee, not Lethal. Lee's Adventure Knit Along, and I've started it, but I've also ripped this out. So I love crescent shaped shawls. So how the Knit Along works is first you pick your shape. And she has all these shape options. You can do a square, which you can do small, or you can do big to actually do a shirt, like a blocky shirt. Or you can do a long, like a scarf rectangle that has an edge like this. So this is going to be the rectangle. Or you can do a crescent, or you can do this other like polygon shape, which kind of scared me. Yes. So you pick your shape, and then the next week you get some stitch patterns. And so you get set up in the first little bit with your shape, and then you pick stitch patterns, and each step gives you 8 different stitch patterns. And you can choose one, or she set it up so that they all flow into each other. So you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there's a whole story that goes along with it. And the story is like you're house sitting for your great aunt, and you go into the attic and you find all these notes, and it's that your some other great aunt or something has like designed all this herself, and she's written all these notes, and you're not sure, so you have to knit along to see what it is going to be.
Oh,
so
fun.
It's like what a real life mystery knit along would be if you like came across this in real life. So
that's so cute. I love that she put that story.
Oh my goodness. And then she even makes the PDF so that you can print it into a little book. Like it's all
that's
perfectly
adorable.
laid out so you can fold it.
I can't imagine how much time and effort that took to write that pattern.
Letho's brain is amazing. Like her patterns are insanely interesting, like constructed, and then also just the way she thinks through different ways you can make shapes. I should have brought I made her batiko shawl out of my hand spun a couple years ago, and it's constructed in a really cool way, and it lays on my shoulders perfectly, but it is out of my bulky hand spun wool. It's really warm.
Oh, yeah.
When we were like snowed in last February, I wore that over my coat to like have to, our car was snowed in, so we had to walk to the store, and that was my savior. It was like huge. And so this I've got done almost two repeats of the first stitch pattern that I picked, which is like a little garter kind of triangle-y thing. And I started the crescent shape, but then I realized that I like crescent shawls that like flow from one to the next, and I couldn't be sure these stitch patterns were gonna, I like to have more control. So I'm doing
I'm not sure how well I would do with
not
I'm
knowing.
too picky.
Yeah. So I'm doing a long piece that I'm then going to sew together, and your cowl inspired me. I'm going to sew it together like you did yours. Big
graft it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what's that pattern called? No, what's the pattern called?
Monster cowl?
Yes, exactly. The monster cowl. It's one long scarf that then gets sewn up and becomes the long cowl. I don't have any pieces like that. Like I have lots of shawls and I have some short cowls, but nothing long. So I thought this, if it's done like that, then the randomness doesn't matter because it's all like gathered around you. So the randomness, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the randomness
cool.
kind of go together. And I'm going to add it in other colors because I have this left over from, I love that hot pink.
I love that too.
Now I can think Color Affection. And this gray, which is my friend Anna's from Toil and Trouble, that is also left over from my Color Affection. I think, don't those look nice together?
I need to see that Color Affection.
Those
I've
are
seen
so
so
happy.
many people knit those, but for some reason, I don't know, it just doesn't attract me.
Yeah, well, it's just garter stitch and just increases.
Well, no, it's the colors. I don't know why.
You have to see mine. It's really pretty. I might be biased.
No,
but,
I love pink and gray. That'll be awesome.
I knit 2 of them. I knit the first one. My book opening party book launch party was at a yarn store in Boston, Gather Here, and my friends came, and so I bought some yarn either from my students or from that yarn shop, and I made the first one.
Oh, neat.
And then in my travels, it got lost.
Oh,
I have no idea where it is. It just disappeared
tragic.
from the face of the earth. And I knit it on like several different plane trips. So it was like my travel knitting, and it has all these memories, so I'm crushed. I can't even talk about it. So then I wanted to knit another one because I wore it constantly. It was like the most worn thing.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
not in 90-degree weather.
Oh.
So I knit another one, and I got the third yarn at Gather Here when I returned to teach last October, and so
What's
it was
the
like
third
my
color?
I can't even remember. It might be dark gray.
I love gray.
So my first one was pink and light gray and dark gray, and I don't know. And maybe a blue. You know, I'll bring it and then I'll remember. It's been too hot to wear it. It's hanging in my bedroom, so I get to look at it every day, but it is like miserably hot.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought like, oh, I could wear it during the podcast, but we'll save that for the summer.
Yeah.
We're going to do our favorite shawl episode.
Yeah,
and I will talk
I'm
about it
excited about
in
that.
depth then. And never again about the lost shawl. I can't bear to speak of it.
No.
But I've been working on this other project. Let's look at this though.
This fell on the floor. I dyed this up, and I'm so sad that I did it in worsted because it would totally go with my Miss Babs yarn.
Oh yeah.
Because I had like a couple weeks ago I bought Miss Babs, and I didn't want to make socks with this much white in it. So I thought, oh, I'll dye it by black or something because I was afraid I wouldn't be able to match anything else. just so happens that about matches perfect. Look at that.
It does.
It looks almost perfect. And so,
Yes.
but this is worsted and this is fingering. So, but yeah, this I dyed up because I was trying to, and I need a little swatch, and I love the swatch.
Me
The
too,
swatch
it's so
turned out
cute.
great.
I don't know if it's showing up the right color.
I don't
it's
think
a
it
gorgeous
is.
color.
It's a really pretty teal color. It's showing up more blue, I think.
Maybe hold it back here. That's more like the color it is, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really love this swatch. This is great yarn. It feels really good. It's got a good,
Yeah.
it's not
Drape.
stiff at all. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
got a good drape to it. And I was trying to make some business cards, and I thought about maybe knitting some of my yarn and taking a picture of the stitches.
Mm-hmm.
And so,
And you did. Your picture turned out great.
my picture turned out great. And so yeah, I probably will go ahead and use this myself because I don't want to sell anyone crinkled up. But I have a shawl pattern in mind, or some kind of, I don't know if it's a shawl or what, but I bought it. I mean, it was like not cheap either. It was probably like a $6 pattern. And once I got it, I was like, oh my gosh.
It's complicated.
It looked a lot complicated. So yeah, it's really neat. It's a zigzag shawl. And in between the zigzags, it looks like it has like drop stitch rows, you know? But
That's why it's $6, because it's a complicated. When you were showing me the pictures, I was like, that is going to be a pay attention every row kind of pattern.
Yeah, I hate doing stuff like that. But I really liked the thing, and so it looked like that I could manage to do it with one skein, so I probably will persevere and cast it on.
Yeah.
Eventually,
Eventually you'll
because,
share
yeah,
it.
I have,
Do you have
like,
enough yarn with that to do a shawl though?
I think the way that the pattern's written, that
You can use all of it.
I could get away with it, with it being just like a little shawlette kind of thing, you know?
Yeah. We will link to that pattern.
Yeah.
So you can see maybe you were a more skilled knitter.
Here it is. It's Planorbis Corneus Shawl.
Yeah. Okay.
That's quite a name.
Maybe you'll have
And
it on the needles to show
I'm
us
sorry I
next week.
didn't write down the designer's name, but I'll have the link in the show notes. So.
Absolutely. So my last project I've been working on obsessively 2 weekends ago is a t-shirt quilt. So this is one strip of it. These are my t-shirts.
Cool.
Yay! I have 4 strips. Each one is a different like thickness. This is a collection of all of our t-shirts. So my husband and I have been married 10 years, and we have both. We get shirts every time we go to concerts. I get shirts from various craft shows I've done, different runs I've done, bands that we just like. Of course, our college. This t-shirt is from Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, Northmont High School.
Oh,
I was in the pit orchestra.
very cool.
I wish it had the year on here.
What'd you play?
The viola.
Oh, cool.
Random. And
I played flute.
oh, there you go. Did you ever do pit orchestra for musicals?
No.
It's the best part.
They didn't do that with us. I thought the best part was marching band.
Oh, well, see, orchestra doesn't have marching band.
Yeah,
but
I did marching band. It was cool.
I did not know that. So did you know I'm like a marching band like obsessive? I will
Oh,
watch
really?
videos on YouTube of all those marching band videos.
Well, my
totally
freshman
geek
year,
out.
I totally got lucky, and it was the best band they had like in years at that high school. And so my freshman year, I went to North, and we went to Atlanta and went and like won competitions, and like it was amazing. We did Phantom of the Opera.
That's awesome.
And it was super cool. And so I switched schools after that, and the school I went to had a bigger school and had a bigger band, and we still had fun, and I got to go to Macy's Parade. I was in the Macy's Parade one year. It was very awesome.
That is my favorite part of the parade. Like, I watch Jay Knows, like, blah, blah, balloons. I want to see the marching bands. I geek out over it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's so great.
So it was cool, except it was cool until they got to Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah.
Then it sucked, and I wanted to go home. Because, it was up north. They don't know how to do Thanksgiving up north. I mean, it was like, I guess if somebody had a kitchen or something, but yeah, the food they gave us, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is not.
But that was like mass-produced food. It wasn't
it
somebody's
was
family
so
dinner.
not good, yeah.
I'm from Ohio, and I totally take issue with we have
Oh,
a great
well,
Thanksgiving dinner
the
with my
food
mama.
they fed us for the band food that they gave us was
Right.
so not my
Right.
Southern Thanksgiving. Thank you very much. And so, yeah.
I love that, though. That stuck with you.
Yes,
through the experience,
that stuck
through the
with
years.
me.
That's great. So, hopefully you can't see all the cat hair on this. My cat decided it was a nice bed. But I learned how to do this in Diane, I never know how to say her name. We're good friends. Gillian's t-shirt quilting class on Creative Live. It came on 2 weekends ago, but you can buy it and watch it whenever. she walks you through the whole process of cutting up your t-shirts all the way through turning them into a finished quilt. And what I was saying is, so we have these t-shirts from all over, and through the years what we've done is when the t-shirt doesn't fit us or it starts to get holy or we just are over it, because you can't wear your high school t-shirt once you go to college, we put it in a box. And that box was actually in our storage center, because last time we moved we put some stuff in storage because our place is tiny. And that box, I went to go get it the day of her class, and I went through every box that wasn't labeled books in our storage center, and it was the very back row, the very top. I climbed it was 7 feet up, this one box of t-shirts, but totally worth it. I brought it home and we looked through it, and 10 years of memories.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was
we
awesome,
totally don't do that. I wish we did. We don't collect t-shirts.
So we didn't even know we were collecting it. It was more I told you I am ruthless when it comes to taking things to the Goodwill. Every season I bag up tons of stuff. I don't even know where all this stuff comes from, and I get rid of it. I can't have it in my house. One of the bonuses of having a teeny tiny space is that so what we do with t-shirts that we care about, though, you can't get rid of your high school orchestra shirt. So we put it in a box, and these t-shirts were kind of all over the house until the last time we moved. We put it in one box, labeled it t-shirts for quilt, and then it just sat there. And then over the past couple years since we moved, we've collected just a few more. Not really collected, just they come into your life and then you're not wearing them anymore. So we had a little stack, and all of the t-shirts together are enough to make 2 full quilts.
Oh, wow.
One is all blacks and grays and some navy blues, and then the other is all bright colors. And of course a lot of those are mine because I like bright colors. So bright blue, and then I got this, when I did the Girls on the Run, my first 5K was a neon green, and that just wouldn't look right against a lot of Jay's black gothy band shirts.
Yeah.
And so I split it into brights and blacks and grays, and I'm glad I did, because it actually has a cohesive look.
Yeah.
So in the past I haven't loved t-shirt quilts because they're too
so random. Yeah.
They are random, but I realize when it's all of your memories, it's a lot better.
Cool. Somebody asked me to do one, and I've not done one before, and so I've wondered how that they get the t-shirts to really hold up, and there's interfacing.
Iron on.
And I'm surprised that it's not more stiff.
It's featherweight. So, and she specified in the class what exact kind to get, and I went to Hancock's, and their interfacing is a mess. It's just a big jumble. But they actually had the exact kind she recommended, which is featherweight.
I might have to get some of this, because I've not been interfacing my bags. I've been using...
You use batting, right? Or flannel?
No, flannel. I've been using flannel for my bags,
and I think that's fine.
It is fine, and I like it. It gives it a good shape,
but
without making it stiff, because I used interfacing and it was too stiff and it turned me off to it.
So check out the featherweight. This one I like, and this one is specifically good for knits. And so as you see, it doesn't have any more stretch the way that a t-shirt does, which is what makes you be able to sew with it. And so the biggest part of the process is cutting it, cutting off the sleeves, cutting the front from the back, cutting off the neck thing, and then she walks you through how to do all that, and that took me a couple days of sitting on the couch and doing other life things, and then cutting the squares. You figure out first you cut them so that you have 2 inches around it, and then you figure out what sizes you have, and you divide them all up by that. So what's great is, unlike a regular quilt, they don't all have to be the same size. You can do that if you want to, but so I have a row that's 17 inches, one's 15, one's 12, and one's 10. And all the t-shirts in that column are that size. And then I've laid them out so I like them. And I've sewed 2 of the columns just last night. I'm going to do the other 2 tonight. And hopefully by the next show, I will have the finished quilt top.
Very cool. Now, are you doing a ditch in between the rows, or are you just going to sew the rows together?
Quilting? Well, so I'm sewing all the rows together, and then I haven't decided on the quilting at the end. I usually...
Well, no, I'm not talking about quilting. Are you going to sew a fabric in between the rows? No, you're just going to sew the rows together.
Yeah, I looked at it, and I don't like a lot of quilts that have extra sashings, all around and in between things, and that would be a whole extra step of cutting and measuring, which I'm trying to avoid. But these quilts also these shirts go together in a way, I don't think it needs it, but she talks about it in her quilt. She did one, kids quilts, and she did kind of Lego block colors in between, and it looks amazing. But my quilts fit together, or my t-shirts fit together in a way that it didn't need extras. But so this is, I have to show you, this is one of my favorites. This is from the first concert me and my husband went to together, Dashboard Confessional. I wore this shirt all through college, and my mom hated it for some reason. She didn't like the name of the band or something. And I have all of these pictures of me and my husband the first year we were dating, and I'm wearing this shirt. Like, I mean, I wore it out. It's got holes in the armpits. So, like, it's got a space. And then it's right next to Urban Craft Uprising, which was one of the first big craft shows I ever did in Seattle. And then Jay's bands. And then, yeah, like the Firehouse in Johnson City.
Yeah.
So we didn't live in Johnson City at the time, but he brought me here to propose in the church that his grandpa built where his parents got married.
Aww.
And we went to dinner afterwards at the Firehouse. So, that's on there. Like, it's
Sweet.
so great memories.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I'm really excited, but it's taken me hours. At this point, it's going to be so simple. The one thing, though, I wanted to ask you is I'm looking for a map fabric to go on the back. Because I thought the front has... We've gone all over the South and have t-shirts from, like, Louisiana and Mississippi and Charleston.
Awesome.
And then, of course, my dad lives in California, so we have t-shirts from there. And so what would be cool is for the back to have, like, a map. But I don't want it, like, there's lots of fabrics that are, like, kids' maps that are cartoony.
Yeah.
I want it to look like...
An actual map.
Like an atlas. Yeah, like what you used to have in your car, a map like that. I haven't been able to find any fabrics. Just this last weekend, I was in Knoxville at a great fabric store there. I haven't looked online a lot, but if you have a suggestion, I would like to hear it, please and thank you. Because that's kind of, I tend to stop working on quilts if I don't know how I'm going to finish it. And since all I have left now is to sew the columns together, I don't have the next step. Without the backing, I can't do anything else. So I want the backing. Please help me. But you have a finished sewing thing as well.
I have one more thing to show.
Yay!
I have some Doctor Who bags.
Yay!
This is, the stitch markers that I ordered come with this giant Doctor Who charm. It's big. You can see it's a couple inches big. And it's really too big for a stitch marker, but I absolutely love it. As a zipper pull.
Yes.
And so I did order another, this is actually the front of this bag. I did order another
TARDIS.
TARDIS.
So this is mine.
Stitch marker set.
We should say this is part of the Doctor Who kit,
This
right?
is part of the Doctor Who kit. They are on my Etsy shop. It's Misty Dot on Etsy.
And this is our big news. This week, Misty set up her shop. I'm so
excited! So I have a few skeins of yarn in there. And look, I made a label. I'm so tickled with myself. And so,
this is my bag. I bought one as soon as she put them up for pre-order because I was, I'm like a crazy Doctor Who fan and a crazy Misty fan. So there is my zipper pull, but then you can see the stitch marker. She is so cool. She put them on this little thing for me.
I've got to order
stitch
some of
markers
those.
are together. That, I'm holding it up to the wrong place. That's
the little one.
You can see
so
it's
you
smaller.
Can see how
and
the difference.
It fits in with all the other stitch markers.
13 different stitch markers. You can see a picture
They're
of all
so
of them
amazing.
on the listing.
And the kit comes with a skein of TARDIS blue yarn. I love it so much. So we talked about it in the last episode, the Doctor Who episode, but now we wanted to show you that they were actually finished and that they're
ready to go.
And there's a very small amount available because of the availability of the fabric.
Yes.
So if you are wanting it, you should grab it. I have to say my favorite part though is that, okay, so the zipper pull or the zipper little tab, she like lines it up perfectly. Can you see that it says police box right there? And then this thing on that one, on mine, it's like the pretty star. She lines up all the fabric amazingly.
Not all of them are going to be, like this one has a police box on the little tabby.
Look at that!
And then here's the little zipper pull thing. So I'm not able to put, because of the prints of the fabric, I'm not able to put the exact same ones, but I try to make the fronts really pretty.
Yes.
And I try to make,
That's
the
what
tabs
amazes
cute.
me though, is your like specificity with like both the tabs and the hooks are always like special. They're not just like random black stars. They're special. I don't sew with a skill level. As you see, I just piece together t-shirts. So it completely amazes me.
Thank you.
And mistydot.etsy.com is where you'll find some of the yarns we talked about. You should go and look at it because I want to buy them all every week.
I want to cast on with something.
I know. So this is sock yarn, yeah?
This is sock yarn.
And I will be telling you next week what I'm going to
80-20.
knit with it because I'm going to knit something with it soon.
This is 80% superwash merino and 20% nylon.
Yes. So links to everything we talked about. I think we covered everything,
Yes.
yeah? Links to everything we talked about is on our show notes, handmadepodcast.com.
Yes.
You can now subscribe to us in iTunes. I know there was some issues. All of our episodes will be there. The very quickest way to find out when a new episode is up is to sign up for the emails in the sidebar at Handmade Podcast. You will get an email when we have a new episode, which means you will get links to everything delivered right to your inbox, which makes it a lot easier. And the videos are on YouTube where you can subscribe there. We have a strange amount of subscribers there.
I know. Oops, sorry.
It's very exciting. So yeah, you can sign up by email, by YouTube, or on iTunes, even though iTunes is going to be slower because the file is just huge. It takes forever. It's all this. But yeah, you can leave a review. We thank you so much for listening. Our Ravelry group has been chatty and we love it. We will be talking about the upcoming fiber retreat. We will have stuff there on Ravelry and we would love to meet you if you come.
Yes, that would be awesome.
And ask your questions. We'd like to answer your questions
Yes.
as well. So thank you so much.
Thanks for joining.
Have a great day.
Bye.